Hello and welcome to the 52 Minutes of Heaven we call the D1Baseball Podcast. I am your host, Michael Patrick Rooney, the third. Today's episode brought to us by our good friends at S2 Cognition. S2 Cognition delivers a revolutionary approach to helping athletes understand how in-game decisions impact their performance from youth levels all the way to the pros. Want to also thank our friends at Pitch Logic, the system used by players, coaches, scouts, and instructors at all levels of play from youth leagues to the big leagues. Easy to use and affordable technology makes the platform accessible to every player at every level. All the metrics, features used at the highest level of the sport. See pitchlogic.com for more information, pitchlogic.com. Love our partnership with the friends, the good people at S2 and Pitch Logic. Today, I am joined for the stock market game by Kendall J. Rogers, Joseph J. Healy, who's kind of in his program's rebuilding, and unfortunately, our defending champion, Zebby Barrels.
You know, all I do is win, no matter what. I'm getting a little sick of it. Dominated last year's fantasy game. Dominated last year's stock game. 74 win improvement for my team selected. Just really a tour de force performance.
Tour de force. Joe, any comment on like the rebuilding project that is the franchise, the Joes? Where do we stand?
We're mostly at this point of the game, Runes. We're just focused on being process oriented. We understand the results haven't necessarily been what we're looking for. I know there was maybe some dissension in the ranks when it came to the player draft last week. We're cleaning some things up. We're going to keep that internal, though. I'm not going to comment on necessarily who's in charge of this draft room. It's going to be a team effort. And look, again, we're going to go in there and keep to our process, and the results are just going to be what they are, honestly. And, we're just going to control what we can control. So I understand why you have to ask that question, but, we're going to keep that internal and, just move forward.
Yeah, fair. Kendall, go Fitz. Go ahead,
just to piggyback on that, just in case anyone's confused about the state of disgrace and disarray, really, that Joe's franchise is under. I had a 74 win improvement for my squad last year. Joe just 18 win improvement. Not great, Bob. That's a distant last place.
And then Kendall, Joe puts his game notes out for this weekend, and the Joes refused to announce any type of rotation, just TBD. So Kendall, my question for you is: Joe just being coy and trying to employ a strategy, or is this hashtag afraid to compete?
I'm going to say afraid to compete until I see a strategy.
Until further notice. Joe, it's kind of, I think we're piling on now.
I'm just trying to send a message to my guys with the TBAs. It's all competition. We're all competing here. Nothing is given. It's all earned.
I feel like I need to be careful with Joe because he did go to Sam Houston State University and he does know people in cut and shoot, and they may know where I live. So sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's a good way to, it's a good way to end up in the Hudson. I'll just put it that way.
Man, that's a long way to transport my body, man.
Sleeping with the fishes.
I was trying to think of a closer river than the San Jacinto.
That's how you end up in the Trinity.
That's how you end up in the Brazos.
I love it. Fitzy, would you, as the defending champion, we do have a tweak to this year's rules. Would you like to kind of explain to the listeners how we play the game?
So the idea here is we are selecting teams that we think are going to make the biggest improvement in their overall win totals from 2023 to 2024. So, for instance, if a team won 20 games last year and they win 30 games this year, then you get a plus 10. And conversely, if you pick a team, Southeastern Louisiana, for instance, that goes in the opposite direction, Joe, that hurts you. It really takes a bite out of your total. So
I can't remember who I took last year. So I'm not really sure I can take your word for it, but if that's who you say I took, then that's fine.
Gotta have a short-term memory.
I don't really want to argue about it.
And this year, instead of doing conference by conference, the rule tweak is this: you can pick whoever you want. You just have to have at the end of the exercise, you need to have one ACC, one SEC, one Big 12, one Pac-12, a Big 10 also. Runes, correct or no?
No, I've got Big Ten and Sun Belt
Okay.
kind of in the wild card area.
Okay. So 2 wild card teams from any conference. Does that non-Power 4 the wild card teams? Or
No,
can you-
just not from the. You could actually do anything with the wild card teams.
yeah.
You
So
could-
that's
you
like
could-
if you wanted to take a second ACC team, for instance,
Go for
you
it.
could do that. Okay.
Yep,
All right.
go for it.
Doesn't really feel like okay. I think we're good.
Yep. So we'll do 20. That'll give us 24 teams each. And all right, good. But by the way, like last year, it's not just about picking teams that struggled. Like Fitzy, I thought one of your key picks last year was LSU.
Yeah.
Went from like 40 wins to 50 wins. That was clever.
Something like that. Yeah, that was pretty clever. That's a great call, Coach.
Yep. All right. So the fabulous Rune Dogs have the first pick in the draft, right?
Fabulous Rune Dogs are on the clock.
All right, and we know who we like. We've actually negotiated the terms of this contract, and we will take Link Jarrett's Florida State Seminoles.
Yeah.
That is the clear choice at 1-1. They had 23 wins last year, snapped that streak of 44 straight regionals, and they're going back to regionals this year. We know that for sure.
It's a no-brainer number 1 pick there, Coach.
Yep, no brainer.
Coach Rogers, you're on the clock. You are muted. Of course you are.
We're just going left to right here in the ACC, correct?
No,
Nope, you can do whatever you want.
It's been a full 2 minutes since I explained the rules, but yes, you can take any team you want.
Tell me you weren't listening without telling me you weren't listening.
Yeah, sorry, I was responding to a text.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I will go with
Cut and shoot Cowboys. They're on the board.
there's some tough calls here. I'm going to go with Ole Miss out of the SEC.
Yeah.
I get that they lost Revis for the year, but I mean they won 25 games last year. I think this is a team that could win 36, 37, 38 games this year, even with that injury.
It's a good pick.
Yep.
I listened to Mike Bianco's press conference last night, like his preseason press conference. Mike Bianco is awesome at media stuff. He laid out his rotation. He laid out the entire starting lineup, and he actually prefaced it by saying, I know I could be coy and like keep it a secret, like the JoJo Joes, not tell anybody. But he just laid it out. I love that. I love that just, brazen, like, whatever, we're going to play good or we're not going to play good. And here's who's going to play.
Absolutely.
No offense, Joe.
No, but I mean, jokes aside, like I've always felt that way about like some of the games that get played leading up to it. Like,
Yeah,
we largely know who your guys are going to be. Like, just like, let's not. Why do we do this anyway?
The most notorious example, of course, being, in my opinion, Jay Johnson at the College World Series in 2016 when he was in Arizona. I think Jay jokes that Gary Gilmore still hates him because he was playing so coy and like not announcing anything. And it's like, yeah, Jay owned it. Like he has a sense of humor about it. But like, come on, like let's be grown.
yeah. He did say that Gary's like still like pissy about that. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. That's awesome.
Hey, now
I could just see like Gary's lip quivering. Like,
I want to just be fully accountable here, Fitzy. My old boss, Coach Murphy, when we would play Oregon State, and Pat Casey was this way too, like they'd walk back from the dugout. I'm exaggerating right now, but it's almost like they'd walk back from the umpires meeting and no one knows who. Like, it's like those guys were notorious for like
Murph would
have
never
to-
do such a thing.
I'm telling you, man, the gamesmanship was at a
Every
very
year
high
he
level.
would swear to us that Mike Leake was going to be the starting shortstop. Right?
Oh
up until
yeah,
opening
oh
day.
yeah. That was his big one. Like, oh yeah, dude, he's definitely going to be our starting shortstop on opening day.
I will say, boy, he was glorious at short. Go ahead. Is it Joe or
yeah,
who?
it is Joe. Sorry.
It is me. I'm going to go with UCLA from the Pac-12. 28 wins last year. Feels like so much went wrong last year, and they still managed to win 28 games, which I actually take as a positive, given that we still like a lot of the talent there. Obviously, there's some games. The Pac-12 is also a league where there are just going to be games where they're going to be able to out-talent the opponent and pick up some wins. So you like the floor there. So UCLA, my first pick.
I like that pick. So UCLA, you said 28 last year, correct?
28 is correct, yes.
Okay. So I'm on the clock for 2 picks here.
Boy, it starts to get challenging. Right.
Yeah, you guys took
about
the three
now.
most obvious picks, so thanks for that. My first pick is going to be the Kansas Jayhawks. Won 25 games last year. They're one of my favorite sleeper teams this year. A team that I think considerably higher on than anybody, and so we'll see. It's a little bit of maybe a reach, but it's just putting my chips on the table here. It's just a team I believe in.
I love you backing that up, Nancy.
Thank you. For my second pick, yeah, it does get interesting. It's getting late early.
It's getting late early.
I'm going to go with the Liberty Flames as a wild card team.
Whoa.
Won 27 games last year. I think they're going to be pretty good this year. Kendall has them as a projected regional team in Conference USA, and I agree with you. I think it's a 40-win team.
Wow. I love it. I have a team on my board. I don't know what league they're in, so I better look that up.
Back to Joe.
Back to me. Okay. I'm going to take Gonzaga, 18 wins last year. I just looked it up. Under Mark Mactoff, they haven't won fewer than 33 games since 2015. It was 35, 34, 31, 33, 33, 36. So they really crashed out last year and won 18 games. Now, they did go 14-13 in the league. And, Gonzaga kind of does play famously difficult non-conference schedules. So, we can point to that a little bit, but it's not as if the talent or the team just totally cratered. I think that was just a scheduling quirk. Maybe this year they'll be in a little bit better place when it comes to that. So Gonzaga, 18 wins, my next choice.
I like it. They're on my board as well.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, on to Kendall.
Yeah, I will go actually on the same token as going back to Conference USA. When I was doing the Conference USA preview, man, I really had a hard time splitting hairs between Liberty and La Tech. I think they're very similar profiles. And the thing about La Tech is I'm going to take them here because they won 28 games last year overall. And they've got like 6 seniors and then all seniors in the weekend rotation this year. That bodes typically pretty well in college baseball. So I'm going to go with La Tech at 28 wins last season. I think they're going to probably win 38, 39, 40 games this year.
It was 29 last year. Was it 29 and 30?
I have 28 and 31.
Hold on, I'm looking at the RPI sheet. Maybe that's 28 and 31. Okay, good to know.
All right. So Coach Rooney for 2, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So my first pick, give me the Arizona State Sun Devils with 32 wins last year. Similar to what you said, Fitzy. Like I gotta, I've been pounding the table for the Sun Devils. So let's back it up. And I don't want to do this, but do I go with the play that's in my heart, or do I go with the smart play? Sometimes you just got to be smart, Joe, right? Just be intelligent. And so that said, for one of my wild cards, I'm going to take Louisville with 31 wins. It felt like I hate doubling up on the power leagues, but Louisville too attractive to pass up, I think.
I think that's smart. It feels like 31 last year is about their floor. So I think that's the pretty low risk.
All right, back to Kendall.
All right, I'm going to go to the Big 12, and I'm going to pick Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma, again, I just mentioned it with La Tech. Oklahoma still has several guys in their starting lineup that were on that team that play for a national championship. I like the potential of their weekend rotation with Braden Davis and Brendan Girton. He apparently had a great fall. Oklahoma is one of those teams, guys, that I actually will picked as my non-top 25 sleeper. I think they can be in Omaha, and they won 32 games last year. So I'm taking the Sooners.
That's a great pick, Kendall. I should have made that pick because now I'm down to one wild card.
Yeah, I'm really bullish on OU. That's one of those teams that when I got it's one you look at like a preview after you do it, and you're like, wait, I might like this team better than where I had them, and that's kind of the way I feel about OU. I think they're gonna be pretty good.
Yep.
I do
I
like
take-
Kansas, so
That brings it to me. And now that I'm about to use my second wildcard pick, I can divulge my thought process here of I think there's more value, more upside potential anyway with some of these wildcard teams from mid-major leagues, because in the power conferences, the teams we're talking about, that's a pretty narrow band of how much movement you're going to have.
yeah.
Pretty rare is going to be the time you're going to. I mean, Florida State obviously has that potential. That's why we all kind of had them as 1-1 on the board. But so with that being said, with my second wildcard pick, I'm taking Dartmouth, which won 3 games
They were on
last
my
year.
board. Yeah. How's that even possible?
I have no idea. Bob Whalen, really good coach, been there a long time. They used to be in the Ivy League Championship Series every freaking year, but they won 3 whole games last year. And very little downside risk for me. Like, I'm about ready to guarantee they will not win fewer than that. So, like, there's very little downside risk here. And, even if they win 10 this year, I mean, that's +7 is a pretty good move there for one team. So anyway, Dartmouth 3 wins.
You should name them captain of your team, Joe. Like, that's a great pick.
Thank you.
Okay. Good job, Joe.
Thank you.
I like how he's like, yeah, great job. Great.
Pretty crafty.
You did-
I think that's
you did,
pretty
You did awesome.
It is actually insane. 3-38.
Yeah, that's hard to fathom.
Yeah, hard to fathom.
Joe's got a
when you
good
consider
club,
the
Fitzy.
When you consider the talent difference in the Ivy League, I mean, sure, like Harvard and Columbia maybe are a cut above, but like generally speaking, the talent difference is not that big in that league.
Yeah.
They're pulling from a similar pool anyway.
Fitzy, if you're going to defend your crown, Joe is really kind of putting it out there right now. Like, your next 4 picks are going to need to be very strong. Just saying.
Yeah, he's getting after it for sure. So I've got a couple of different options here. Boy, oh boy.
They're hungry too, the Joes. Like,
They
the
are.
Fitty Barrel is kind of fat and happy right now. Like,
I
just a
would
lot of
agree.
complacency. Complacency is a real issue.
You got
for
the
that
you got the White
franchise.
Castle burger resting in your chest in the recliner.
I'm like the 2019 New England Patriots. It's just like winning has gotten old. Like, let's run this
boy.
crappy old quarterback out of town. I don't need this guy anymore. I'm tired of winning. Let's see. I got the boy. Do I pull the trigger on that? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Mississippi State guys. I just don't think they're gonna be down 3 years in a row. They won 27 games last year, 27 and 26. I don't know if there's room for everybody to bounce back that I think is going to bounce back. Like, can Ole Miss and Mississippi State both bounce back? We'll find out. But I think they win more than 27 games. So I'm going to go with that. And I do need a Pac-12 team as well.
Boy, I'm in a really dangerous spot mentally right now, Joe. I'm the gambler who's chasing the money instead of playing the cards. Like, that is not a good place to be.
So I need a Pac-12 team, guys. I think the choice here is, we're going to go with Cal. Runes. A Runes special here. 24 wins a year ago. Getting a healthy Ian May back. They've got some nice, obviously, talent there with RJ Green and Caleb Lomavita. High-end. I like teams that have high-end talent, anchoring the roster, that have some experience now. I feel pretty good about that one.
Good get. All right.
Back to Joe.
My apologies. Okay. I'm going to go to the SEC, and this is the first time I'm taking a team that really, like, you look at last year and you like the win total, and there's not maybe as much upside, but I do like the floor here. I'm going to go Auburn out of the SEC.
Yeah.
34 wins last year. I'm helped a little bit in this regard that they had the season they had, but it's quote only 34 wins. I mean, that's a team that could have easily had 38 or 39. So 34 for Auburn.
That's a good get.
Yeah, very much on my board there.
Well, and it's also just like once you get past those teams, you start to, are you going to bet on Georgia to be better in a rebuilding year, Mizzou to be better in a rebuilding year? Do you bet on, one of the high end teams to just marginally increase its win total? Tennessee maybe. So yeah, it gets a lot more complicated in the SEC.
Yeah. Kendall.
All right, I'm going to go the ACC here. I still need an ACC team. I'll tell you what. I know they got an injury on the front of the weekend rotation, but I think on paper North Carolina has a chance to be very good. They won 36 games last year. I think I could very easily see the Tar Heels being a team that wins 46, 47 games this year, 45 games. So I'm going to go with the Tar Heels. 36 wins last year.
That's a good pick.
That's a good pick. Very much was considering them. I did get, to your point, Kendall, I did get spooked by the rotation and the but that win total feels very gettable for them. All right, so I need to make a Big 12 decision. Man, these are thin margins in the Big 12. What do I like here? Actually, you know what? I don't need to make a Big 12 decision. Let's do. All right, now we're just getting crazy. Give me Northwestern. 10 wins last year.
Had them on my board.
I'm a Ben Greenspan believer, and just feels like, especially in non-conference games, they can't. I'm worried, right? Like it's a lot of turmoil, but man, it's your Dartmouth pick, but not as good, Joe. Just like very low bar to clear.
Yeah, I had that. I had that on my board as well, Coach. That's a nice pick.
All right, so now I've got to pick an SEC team. Oh man, I've already picked 4 teams. I got to pick an SEC team, and I got to pick a Big 12 team. Oh man. Well, I can think out loud because Kendall's the only, or Joe, you're the only one left to pick a Big 12 team. I like Kansas State at 35 wins. It's a lot of wins, though. I like Tech at 41, but that's also a lot of wins. And I like Cincinnati at 24 wins. I just don't know. I love Jordan Bishop. I just don't know how ready they are for this league. So what choice do I make there? 35, 41. You know what? Let's not be afraid of Kansas State. Give me Kansas State with 35 wins. Let's not be scared of that.
Yeah, that's the right pick. Well done.
Thank you.
Back to
They're
Kendall.
good. They're good. They're legitimately good. Why am I scared?
No, don't be scared.
That's right. Don't be afraid to compete.
We're back to me.
Yep.
I just have one on the top of my head. Well, I need a Pac-12 team, so I'm going to go with USC as my Pac-12 team.
Yeah.
They won 34 games last year. Runes has sold me on the Trojans. They've got a superstar in Austin Over, and I'm a believer in Andy Stankiewicz as a head coach. They took a big step forward last year. I think that's the most logical pick out of the Pac-12 of the teams that are left.
I love it. Hey, boys, let me interject. We'll take a vote. What do you think about? We're flying. We're only 23 minutes in. Last year we picked 8 teams. We did 4 wild cards. How do we feel about expanding to 4 wild cards? Do you have enough of a board to make that happen?
Can make that happen.
Yeah.
And then it's
I would
apples
say
to apples to last year.
in the interest of like and so we're all on the same footing. Let's finish with like everybody fills out their 6.
Yeah.
And then we'll just do the 2 wild cards after that. Once everybody's filled out everything else.
I think that's fair.
Yep. Yeah. Like they're 2 like total. Yep. Got it.
All right. So it's me now, correct? Do I have that right?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I need a Big 12 team. I need an ACC team, and neither of those really matter because everyone else has theirs except for right. Yeah. Everybody else has picked those conferences. So there's, no rush on my part. This is my first pick. In the Big 12, I'm going to go with Baylor, 20 wins. The teams that are left there are teams that I'm not certain are going to win more than they did last year. I'm not certain with Baylor either. Frankly, I don't like Baylor's team relative to the Big 12. However, they're starting from a low enough point. Could they get to 24, 25 wins? That seems doable if their non-conference is, relatively soft. But so yeah, Baylor 20 wins.
Yep.
You're right, Joe. It's a first non-glorious pick for you. That's going to require some.
Yep, that's going to require some help. Yep, got to get some help there.
Some Tums.
So I need an ACC team here, Joe, actually. So you probably should have taken that one first, but you blew it. Again, another misstep by the JoJo Joes.
We're sloppy. What can I say?
And I think I'm going to pick your pocket because the team I like here, I kind of was sold on after I read your fall report on them. Virginia Tech.
Great. Yeah. Damn it.
You wrote in the fall report that, a great comment from John Sheff kind of comparing this club to the team that hosted a regional a few years back where it felt like had a really veteran team with inexperience on the mound, but he kind of had a similar feel about that club. And I love this position player group. I think it's, as you wrote, it might be, it's on the very short list of best infields in the country, offense and defense. I think they're going to be pretty good. It's kind of a sneaky, we don't have them projected as a regional team, but maybe we should. This could be a whiff on my part since I did the ACC preview, but I'm going to go with Virginia Tech with 30 last year. I think they improve upon that. And I get another pick to round out my wild card list. I will take. So I know Joe, I'm going to play a little strategy here. I know Joe needs an ACC team. I think Georgia Tech could also improve upon last year's 30 win total. So I'm going to double up here with 2 ACC teams. I'm going to take Georgia Tech.
Wow, Joe. How do you feel? How do the JoJo Joes feel about Fitty Barrels doing that to you?
I'm changing my posture here to it's not a me problem. It's that Aaron takes these way too seriously. He's just, this is the fantasy football zealot in Aaron, that he's got strategies and he's always playing an angle. It's like the John Calipari of our league here, where he's always playing an angle, just,
I like that comp to my all-time favorite, sports team, the 1995 UMass Minutemen. I'll take that comp.
Oh, wow.
I thought you were going to say, what team did he coach? The Nets? Was that his NBA team that he,
I think it was
famously did poorly in? Yeah.
Oh, good call.
How about the 95 Minutemen? That was Marcus Camby's club, right?
Yeah, Marcus Camby and
Padilla
and Travieso, the great Dana Dingle.
Oh, yeah, Dana Dingle, that one.
Joe, back to you.
Joe, before you pick, you need to Google at the end of this call John Chaney and John Calipari.
Oh, it's
all-time great
press
conference.
I am familiar with this one. I also am just familiar with John Chaney in general, just a unique look, that guy. Nobody else looks like John Chaney.
Yes.
Rest in peace, John Chaney.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess I got to take an ACC team, and this is not a reflection on how I feel about this team, but to me, this is the one viable team left on the board for the ACC, and that's NC State with 36 wins.
Yeah.
Because they finished under 500 in the ACC last year, so I think there's some upside potential there if they even just flip that record around. It's going to be a moderate gain at best, but if they gain me some wins, I will take it. NC State 36.
I debated that as well. I'm pretty high on the Wolfpack this year.
Yeah, they were on my board. I think that's a 41 club.
Yep, certainly. On to Kendall for you had a wild card pick here.
All right. I'm going to go to the Big East and go with the Creighton Blue Jays. They won 25 games last year. They've got an entirely senior weekend rotation. And I was talking to Connor Gandossi at the coaching convention. They think they're going to be pretty good. So 25 wins was their mark last year.
It's a good call. I like that pick.
Yeah, Big East is interesting. All right, so I need an SEC club to finish it out, and I'm gonna think out loud. I love Tennessee. I'm gonna pick them as my national champion. I'm not gonna pick them in this game. 44 wins, and they got to Omaha. That's a big bar to clear. I'm all in on Tennessee. I think they're gonna be awesome. I think it's a 50-win team. I like Arkansas at 43 wins. I like A&M at 38 too. Just that threesome of Montgomery and then Gavin Grahovic and then Jace Laviolette. I think that if those three kids hit kind of next to each other in that order for A&M, I think it's going to be as fun of a part of a lineup as they'll be in college baseball. But I'm actually going to take Arkansas. I think they are a legitimate 50-win team that can go deep into Omaha and win 54 games. So I'm going Arkansas with 43 wins.
Yeah, that was for me when I was debating Mississippi State. That was the other team I was strongly considering was Arkansas. I'm totally with you. My national champion pick. I think it's a 54-win team.
Yep.
Good pick.
Amen. All right, boys. So are we clear to do two more wild card picks?
That's correct.
And same order? Do we want to flip the order or just keep it rolling?
Keep it going.
Roll right through? Okay, I am going to do. Now we're getting to the part of the proceedings where I don't know anything about these teams. It's just pure brand selection. I feel conviction on this one, though. That this is. I just need like 5 or 6 from these guys. I think your Cal Baptist Lancers. They won 28 games last year, but they were 28-30. I could see them winning the WAC this year. And if they win the WAC, that's probably like 36, 37 wins. Now that's not easy to do. That the top of that league's good. But yeah, give me your Cal Baptist Lancers with 28 wins. Mitchell Simon, by the way, their third baseman's fun. 20-plus homer guy and like a 70 arm.
Look at you dropping some Lancer knowledge.
Well, I mean, Fitzy, like the WAC's for you.
That's your
what's the report called from Trading Places? Anybody seen that? Am I going too deep into 80s movies right now?
I've seen it. It's just been a long time.
The Orange Report? I don't know. Dang it. If only Joe was older. He'd know.
K Rizzle on the clock here.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Sun Belt and South Alabama, guys. 2 of the last 3 years has won 35 or more games. Last year, they won 22 games.
Hashtag research.
I'm going to go with South Alabama at 22. I'm a believer in Mark Calvey. I'm a believer in that program. I don't think they're going to have that kind of year again.
Good pull.
Absolutely on my board. Yeah, that's a good pick, Kendall.
Just a fact check on that one. Is it 22 or 23? Because I had them on my board and I had 23, but I could be wrong.
I had 23.
Our site says 22. I don't know.
It depends where you look. There's a couple of discrepancies. For whatever reason, there's a couple of discrepancies.
I'm going to go with the lower number.
Their official site has 23.
Yeah,
for the record.
So 23 is the answer.
Yeah, we'll go with 23.
Put this game under
I need
protest.
I need to get on my man. I need to get on my man Luke and Rick over at 643. Get on the horn, guys. Let's go. Opening days tomorrow.
Trying to win stock market games over here.
Come on, man. Jeez.
When they play games under protest, isn't it like the umpires do that? Like they have to like do the giant like P up to the press box to signal.
I thought you were signaling across for a minute. I'm like, I don't think they go that far.
They do that.
I love it.
Okay. Joe is going to go with the South Florida Bulls. 21 wins.
Okay.
Couple things that I think are factors there. One is I just think the talent on that roster, especially offensively, is better than a 21-win team. Billy Mole has also taken over pitching coach duties there. He obviously has a track record as a quality pitching coach throughout his career. Also, that league ostensibly, we'll see in actuality, ostensibly has gotten a little bit lighter lift theoretically. Maybe it's a wash. I don't know. But in a world where, there's a lot of conference realignment, maybe that ends up being helpful. We will see. But 21, South Florida.
I know exactly who I want for my final pick. Don't you people ruin it.
Oh, man, I can't wait to pick your pocket. It's going to be...
Do not do it.
It's going to be delightful.
These games bring out a different Aaron that I'm not entirely sure I like, to be honest.
Not here to make friends.
That's true. All right. I got 2 picks here back to back to finish it up for me. One of those picks is going to be the Little Rock Trojans.
Whoa.
That's a good one, yeah.
31 wins last year. Going to be a 44-win club this year for a gain of plus 13. They're going to dominate that league. They're loaded. What a great pick this is at this point. I can't believe you guys let this
You're
team,
very proud of yourself.
let this team fall.
How many wins, Fitzy? What's your bar?
31.
Okay.
Aaron is like the gif of the guy patting himself on the back. That's him.
Like
That
it.
is me. All right. And then I got one more pick. Where was I? Okay. I've got a couple of thoughts here. I guess I could just talk out loud as I go since I'm not picking again after this. You know what? I'm just going to make the pick. Rutgers, 33 wins last year. Feels like a team that could win 40 games. I do like their club a lot, although we liked their club last year too, and they still only got to 33. So But I saw these guys in the fall. I think they're very talented, young in some spots, but kind of like their pitching, really like their position players. It seemed like a pretty well-rounded club. So feel good about that one. Rutgers, 33 wins, and I'm done. On to Joe.
I give you an F for your team.
That's a good sign for me. That means I'm going to win this thing again.
So I considered, I'll talk out here one of my thoughts. Like I considered Cal Poly at 21 wins, but I don't love, that they open with Missouri, and while we don't know what to expect from Missouri, that is an SEC roster. So, that's tough. They got Texas the weekend after that. They have Ohio State on this roster, on the schedule, who I think is going to be better. So I don't love especially when you consider that we really like Santa Barbara's team and Irvine's team, and Northridge has gotten better. So I kind of looked away from them, and I'm going to go Kennesaw State with 25 wins. They actually were low considering the talent. I liked the team more than I liked the results last year. I thought it was more than a 25 win team. I saw them in the fall and liked a lot of what I saw. They run into some of the same issues schedule wise because they're going to play a lot of midweek games against pretty good teams, the other teams within, the Georgia, Florida kind of group of mid majors, but I'm going to bet on at least a moderate improvement there.
Joe, did Kennesaw State and Georgia State change coaches at the same time? Like, are both those staffs are fairly in the same?
Roughly, yeah. I don't remember
tenure?
The exact years, but yeah, they're roughly in the same spot.
Like fairly newer coaching staffs, right?
Yeah.
Feels like. Excellente. Fitzy, you need to have a press conference after the draft and just do full Belichick, bark at people. I like the edge. You're muted.
Preferably with a ripped up hoodie on.
Fitzy, you're muted. But
You're
please
muted.
tell us if you have a ripped up hoodie.
I was going to say Belichick doesn't have any edge. He's just a zero on the press conference days. I got personality. I'm like a 1995 era John Calipari. That's how my press conference is going to go.
I love that. John Chaney is what. Yeah, you're more.
That's right. On to Kendall for a final pick.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think I'm already in outstanding shape.
Yes.
I liked where Runes was earlier, where his head was with A&M. If we think A&M is an Omaha team and they won 38 games last year, that's a great pick. So I'm going to go with A&M.
Yep.
Love it.
I like it.
I like it. All right. So me for the final pick, Mr. Irrelevant, if you will, Fitzy.
Yep.
All right. So under Larry Lee, Joe, who was the Big West team you were just mentioning? I kind of spaced out when you were talking about them.
It was Cal Poly.
It was. Okay.
Yeah, it was Poly.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. Larry, I'm anxious about them because they've been struggling. But then you look them up, and they did win 37 games in 2022. They won 31 in 2021, and 21 wins last year is literally the lowest of Larry Lee's 20 years. And so Jason Gill is an assistant coach there. I like that. That's a new trend in college baseball to me, where you have these former established head coaches that reinvent themselves as assistant coaches. I like that. So give me Cal Poly. I think there's a lot of gettableness in the Big West too, outside of Irvine and Santa Barbara. So yeah, give me Irvine or a Cal Poly for 21 wins.
All right. I'll tell you what, I think everybody, except Joe, of course, I think everybody did pretty well this time. Kendall, I thought actually, I tip the cap to you, Kendall. I think you got an actual chance this year. After really pretty embarrassing showing last year, just a 30-win improvement. You did much better this year. Really, I thought your team.
Well, let's run through our teams.
I can now sleep much better at night knowing that you approve of my team. Thank you.
Stamp of approval. Fitzy, you want to start us off? We'll go clockwise. Yeah, read your team to us, please.
Yeah, so my ACC clubs, I actually have two ACC teams I grabbed: Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech, both with 30 wins. Don't really know what to make of either one of those teams. Like those, I don't think they'll win fewer than 30 games. So I feel like those are like safe floor picks with some upside, but we don't have either team picked to make a regional. And so it's kind of like, we'll see. I mean, maybe it's a marginal improvement, but I think it'll be at least some improvement. Mississippi State, 27, same. I mean, I don't think there's any way they win fewer than 27. Maybe they win 37. Maybe they win 43 if they really. It could happen. Those Mississippi State teams, Mississippi teams, Ole Miss and Mississippi State both, hard to get a feel for them. They're kind of in the same boat for me as Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech. Kansas 25. Love that pick. One of my favorite sleepers. Cal 24. Feel really good about that one. Liberty 27. Again, we think this is a regional team. It's a 40-win club. I would think they got really good pitching. Georgia Tech, I mentioned. Little Rock 31. They're going to dominate their league, be an easy 40-win team. And Rutgers 33. Probably like a 38 to 42 win club there too. So, really another strong draft by Fitty Barrels, I'd say.
Fitzy, just because that it says Fitty Barrels on the uniform, how many wins is that before we even throw the first pitch? Like, is that 3-4 wins?
I think like a 10-win advantage. I mean, if you just look at the historical margins here.
I'm starting to be Team Joe here, where I think he might be taking this a little bit too seriously.
Well, listen, guys, winners win. And once you get used to it, it's an acquired taste. You guys wouldn't know, but it's an acquired taste. But it's actually pretty fun to win. So.
Winning is an acquired taste. Kendall, tell us about your club, please.
Well, I'm not. Isn't Joe up?
We're going clockwise on the screen here.
Oh,
okay.
That's clockwise, isn't it?
Yeah, that works.
we're skipping over the one.
Well, I was first. I'm going last, so we're all this whole court's out of order.
All right. So I have North Carolina out of the ACC, Ole Miss out of the SEC. Aaron kind of touched on them a bit ago. Oklahoma, as a spoiler alert, not that anybody actually really cares. They are my top 25, non-top 25 sleeper. I think Oklahoma's going to be very good. I've got them out of the Big 12. USC, Stankiewicz and company took a step forward last year. I'm expecting them to take yet another step forward this year. La Tech, Lane Burroughs has done a tremendous job there over the last decade. They won 28 games last year. I'm feeling pretty good about that number being significantly higher. Creighton, same way at 25. South Alabama, historically a 35-plus win program every year, won 23 last year. And, of course, Texas A&M at 38 wins last year. I think that's an Omaha team. If it is, that's probably plus 11 or 12.
Man, as I said, I just think A&M's interesting. That's a very intriguing club. I think they're going to be a fun watch. Joe, before you give us your roster, why is your franchise called the JoJo Joes? Please, talk to us.
Well, my name is Joe. So
yeah, that's it. Just like your name times 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like that band, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. It's kind of the same concept. It's the JoJo Joes.
I like it.
Yeah,
not familiar with their work, but yes.
Actually, neither am I. I just know their name. So JoJo Joes. Okay, my team. So the first bucket is teams that were good last year that I think have a chance to be better and give me marginal gains are NC State and Auburn. Then I've got teams like UCLA, Gonzaga, consistent winners that kind of seemed like maybe they bottomed out a little bit last year. Speaking of bottoming out, Dartmouth with 3 wins. That's just as low risk as it gets. So you like that. Baylor was a pick I got. I was the last guy to pick a Big 12 team, and I just didn't feel comfortable with any of the other options there. And so they're starting from a low platform. So that's where I went there. My last two wild cards, South Florida and Kennesaw State. I like some of the changes South Florida has made, like just around their staff. I like the talent offensively, and then Kennesaw State I was really sold by when I saw them in the fall, and was kind of surprised they struggled as much as they did in their league last year. So we will certainly see about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, your JoJo's. Well done.
Thank
All
you.
right, your fabulous Rune Dogs, America's team, if you will. Out of the ACC at 1-1, the no-brainer of all no-brainers, Florida State, 23 wins. They're going 40-plus. Game, set, match. SEC, Arkansas is going to go from 43 wins to 55 wins. Kansas State, 35 to 42 out of the Big 12. Arizona State, I think they're going from 32 to 40. Louisville is going from 31 to 40-plus. Northwestern, if you can just go from 10 to 20, we'll call it a day. That's perfect. Cal Baptist is going to go from 28 to 35 in the WAC, and Cal Poly is going to go from 21 to 31 in the Big West. And so your 2024 national champions will be the fabulous Roon Dogs.
That's well done. That is just a strong draft by you two, Coach Rooney. I'm just excited to have some competition this year because you guys came strong, and I'm proud of you. I just want to say I'm proud of you.
Well, we appreciate. I know Kendall is just, that was important to him coming into this draft.
I've been waiting my whole life for acceptance from Aaron.
So gentlemen, Coach Rooney is 24 hours from viewing a live college baseball game. And what that means is that this is the perfect time to get your subscription to D1Baseball and SEC Extra. Now, we have a coupon for you. If you type in Joe with an S at the end, Joe's, type that in, 0% off. Type in Mr. Corn, type in Kurt Reed, type in Fitty Barrels, 0% off. If you want a discount, type in the number 24 and then season, you'll get 24% off. So 24 season, 24% off. Perfect time. During games, you're going to want to pull up player stats. You're going to want to pull up schedules and scores. Get your sub right now. No better time. Gentlemen, how are you feeling about that?
That was pretty good.
I like it.
Cool.
Thank you.
I'll be in Arizona this weekend, which I can't wait for. Fitzy, you're going to be Campbell, Santa Barbara?
No, I'm going down to Coastal Carolina.
Nice.
We got Duke, Indiana, George Mason, and the Chanticleers, 3 regional teams last year, and almost 3 top 25 teams because Indiana was right on the cusp for us in the preseason. So I feel great about that field.
4 regional teams, right? George Mason was in there.
That's what I said. Yep, 4 regional teams.
How about it? Kendall, you're going to be in the man cave?
No, Globe Life. We've got Tennessee, Texas Tech, Oregon, Nebraska, Baylor. Who's the other team there?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. So it should be a fun weekend. Yeah, tomorrow night we get Kyle Robinson against Drew Beam. That'll be a blast.
AJ Russell, actually. They're going AJ Russell on Friday. Beam's on Saturday. Yeah.
Go figure.
I love that.
Sounds like
Joe?
Russell's been electric, so that should be a good matchup.
Could Russell, Joe, here's the question. Could Russell be another one of these guys that this is, I just can't get my arms around this, where we've got kids that are not playing college baseball their freshman year, and then they're not just good. They're like the best player on their team. Now, I get it. AJ Russell threw 30 innings last year, and he just tore people up for 30 innings. But 30 innings is a light, that's not even an appetizer. I mean, it feels like AJ Russell could be that guy.
Yeah, and a lot of those innings didn't come until late. Like I saw him against Georgia in early May. He kind of came in and hey, we need you to get some bulk innings here. And I think he was sitting on 15, 16 innings on the year. And I have to wonder, I have not asked, but I have to wonder if he was actually better last year than they thought he'd be, because his role just kind of kept growing and growing and growing and growing. And by the time they got to the postseason, it was like, hey, this guy is actually one of our guys. So I think there's a pretty good look. It's a fastball is like 93 to 97. It's a wipeout breaking ball. 47 strikeouts last year and 30 and a third. Yeah, I think there's a chance it's less that, they're mixing things up and more just that like Russell might be their best guy. Like Drew Beam's got the experience, but it might just be that Russell's the dude.
Love it. And where are you headed this weekend, Joe?
Spartanburg, South Carolina, primarily. Kentucky is there. So you got the favorite to win the Big South Conference. Really talented old team there at Upstate. And then you've got Kentucky coming off a super regional. Looking forward to seeing Travis Smith, who was excellent in the fall. Kentucky is hanging a lot of hopes on him being a legit Friday guy, because that's one thing. As much success as Kentucky had last year, and even in previous years, they really haven't had a Friday dude maybe since Zach Thompson. I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody else. They've had some nice pitchers, but in terms of like a guy that every Friday you thought that gave them an advantage, or at least something close to it, you might have
Shelley.
to Zach. Yeah.
I don't know which one of those guys is more recent, but anyway.
I think Thompson was 19. So I think he's slightly more recent. But yeah, so it's been a little while since they've had like a dude on Fridays, and Travis Smith certainly has the stuff to be that guy. We'll see.
Love it. The Spartans. I always want to call UC Upstate like the Highlanders or the Lancers or the Hilltoppers, but they are in fact the Spartans.
They are the Spartans,
So,
indeed.
Yes. Gentlemen, good luck to your teams. Everyone enjoy opening weekend. When you're listening to this, you might be on your way to the first game of the season. Hard to believe it's here, but we're grateful for it. So enjoy. We'll get back into our podcast routine next week, recaps on Monday-ish and then previews Thursday-ish as the season progresses. And that's it. Happy opening weekend, everybody. And we will catch you next time on the D1 Baseball Podcast.